Hey guys, this is Doug Cook, the Vet's Vet, along with Beverly Whipple, the Tattooed Realtor, with our next video in our series of educating the new home buyer. Okay, so last week we talked about getting pre-approved. Okay, so now you're pre-approved. You've met all the requirements as far as income, credit, assets, and you found a home. You went out with Bev and you found a home.
It's exciting.
Now what, Bev?
Well, now we make an offer, and that just flows off the tongue so easily. We make an offer, like it sounds so easy. It is easy, but there are several steps in it. So with that, we really need to deduce how much of the purchase price do you want to pay for it, because a lot of times, if a home has been on the market for a while, people think that they can come in with a lower offer. And so you and I need to have this conversation about what kind of offer you feel comfortable with. And I know Doug is going to give you a little bit more on this. There's a difference between how much Doug will pre-approve you for and what you're comfortable with. So
right. There's so many things that come into play when I pre-approve you or when the lender pre-approves you. It's not just what's the maximum amount of money can you qualify for, because me personally, I have a hard time putting someone in a home and make them house poor where they can't afford gas, can't afford, right. And so your lender will probe and they'll ask questions like, they'll, first of all, what kind of sales price are you thinking about? But the main thing is, what do you want your monthly payment to be? Because in the monthly payment, you're going to be looking at principal and interest, and we'll talk about this in the future. You'll also have to pay for hazard insurance and property taxes. And so there's a lot of little things that
adds up
could come into
quickly.
play, right.
For sure. So once we decide what your comfort level is, how much of the purchase price you're willing to pay, we just talk. And how new is this home to the market? Because right now sellers are not hurting for money. I mean, if you're not going to buy it, they've got 5 other people lined up behind you that will buy it. So we really just need to make sure that this is the home for you and you're prepared to pay what you need to pay, but still staying and living within your means, which Doug said he will chat with you with and let you know. There is this thing we have, it's called earnest money. It's a little bit of skin in the game for the buyer. It is my job to protect your earnest money. So we typically do about 1% of the purchase price. For Utah or for Southern Utah, it's very common that we do $1,000. So once your offer gets accepted, you write a check to my brokerage for $1,000, and that money just gets held in their escrow account. And then once everything does come to a successful close, that money gets credited back to you on your lending papers. So it's not just, here, Mr. Seller, here's $1,000, go have fun. No, it will be credited back to you. But there is a chance that you could lose this earnest money. Once, and we'll talk about the deadlines next week, but once you hit a certain deadline, that money could become hard, is what we say, which means that money is no longer yours. That money is the seller's. But again, it is my duty, it is my job to do my very best to protect your earnest money so it doesn't go bye-bye. So with that, there are a couple other little boxes in the contract we fill out, like a home warranty. That's the best insurance that you can have for peace of mind, is the home warranty. So yeah, just a couple extra little boxes that we do fill out.
Right, and I know that on the contracts that I get that have been accepted, a majority of the time, the seller is paying for the warranty. I know it's not that way all the time, but is that typical?
That's right. So again, depending on how strong we want our offer, depending on how much money we offer for the home, if it's up or down from the purchase price, we want to make a very strong offer. So I love to have the sellers pay for the home warranty, and sometimes it's just a drop in the bucket. I mean, I'm talking, this is like $475 for one of the more expensive warranties. And when you're talking about thousands of dollars, we try to slip it in there. Maybe the sellers won't notice, but I do try very hard to make sure that the seller pays for the home warranty. And I don't think that I've ever had one where the buyer had to pay for it. So thankfully, we've gotten that paid by the seller.
Right, and when you think of it, I mean, the home warranty is on existing issues, things in the home like appliances, air conditioning, stuff like that. So it's things that the seller took care of. So
Exactly.
it kind of makes sense that, you know, the seller would pay for warranty so that, you know, the day after they close, the air conditioning
Which
goes
has
down.
happened.
Yeah, it's well worth receiving that. so.
Definitely. And on that level, you can renew your home warranty. So we'll talk about home warranty, people who sell them, what your options are, and you can renew them year after year, but that will be up to you. But the first year, I do try to get the seller to pay for that. So, and now with all those boxes filled out, with all of the details of our offer in place, now we submit our offer to the listing agent, and now we just kind of wait and we hope for a response sooner rather than later.
Right. Now, one real quick thing. You also may want to think about getting an inspection.
Oh, yes.
I know on VA loans, a pest inspection is required, and the veteran cannot pay for it under certain circumstances, and so that's kind of a judgment call, and that's something that the buyer usually pays for. Is that right? Or
No,
is that,
not
okay.
definitely not at all. And again, it all depends on how comfortable you feel and I feel with this offer. I mean, I write up any offer that my buyers tell me to. That's my duty to you, is I will write anything up. But it's also my duty to help educate you and say, okay, the asking price is $300,000. You want to come in with $240,000. You've got X amount of earnest money, but now you also need them to pay closing costs and the home warranty and the inspection. So 99.9% of the time when I have a VA loan, the seller must pay for the pest inspection and sometimes X amount of their closing costs, because I know that they can't pay those. So, but with that, since I know that the seller has to pay this stuff, I may not ask for them to pay for the home warranty, or we may want to up our earnest money to just make our offer that much stronger to make sure that you get the home. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, now we're waiting. We're waiting for that seller to see how awesome your offer is.
That's right.
And for them to accept it. Once it gets accepted, then that's a whole new set of stuff. And we'll talk about that next week. We'll talk about what now. And then we'll also talk about my buyer do's and don'ts during the process. Because like Bev said earlier, there's certain things you can do to where you're going to lose your earnest money or at least have it in jeopardy. And it happens. It's happened several times to me. And so it's all about the education, and we look forward to continuing with this, so stay tuned and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.